Hello, mi amores, and welcome to this informational video all about the sacral chakra. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I said I was going to do a 7-part series for each of the main 7 chakras, and I started with the root chakra a few weeks back. I wanted to do this sooner, but I just went through a really crazy, hectic move and am finally settled into my new place and have been integrating this start of this new cycle. So everything in divine timing, okay? So here we go. This is all about the sacral. The sacral is, again, it sits down below, okay? So here's the belly button. So it sits below the belly button, a couple inches, kind of like in between the belly button and the groin area, okay? So right in here, in the very low part of the abdomen, okay? The sacral color of the chakra, of the sacral chakra, is orange, okay? A lot of people tend to think like sacral orange, you know, so they immediately think fire, like fire element, and the sacral chakra is actually a feminine chakra, and the feminine chakra is ruled by water, okay? So let's get into it. So the sacral chakra is a few inches below the belly button. The color is orange. We already covered that. The purpose of the sacral and what it embodies and governs and controls, okay? So emotions, again, water, okay? So this is a very emotional chakra. Immediately people always like think of the heart, which yes, and we'll get to that in another video. Now that I'm in my new space, I'm going to be way more productive online and with work and things. So these videos will be coming out much sooner. It won't be another few weeks before the next one. So this chakra is a very emotional chakra, controlling our emotions, connecting with the emotional body, and it's creativity. It's your sensuality, your senses, touch, taste, right? Smell, sight, okay? But it's also very connected with your spiritual senses, okay? Intuition, water, emotions, intuition, it's all connected. Your emotional body and your physical body. So when your sacral chakra is very open and flowing the right way that it should, and it's very active and clear and in balance, you're going to be very in tune with your senses. Things become, life is sensual. Everything about life is sensual. But when the sacral chakra is blocked, we are cut off from that sensuality. And sensuality is not sexuality. Okay, although, yeah, are they connected? For sure, of course. But as adults, as we start to get into that mundane, you know, trap of everyday robotics of life, just we get up and go, we get more and more and more disconnected from our sacral chakra. We become more robotic, and we become less creative and imaginative. We disconnect from our physical body, where we go into survival mode, and we completely disconnect from the physical. And that's typically when, you know, a lot of times in like 30s, 40s, when we reach these age groups, people just start shutting down. Life becomes too much, okay? In one way or the next, stress kicks in, high cortisol kicks in, etc., and so forth. And it disconnects you more and more and more and more from your senses and enjoyment and present energy with the senses. Like when, for instance, when you sit down to eat a meal or eat dinner, a lot of people that are, you know, that have blocked sacral chakras, they just inhale their dinner. They inhale their food. It's not an experience. It becomes a chore. It becomes a part of the program, the pattern. Well, it's around that time. It's time to eat dinner. You know, whether you're really hungry, not really hungry, you're just like clockwork, okay? But you're not really enjoying that meal, okay? Like a lot of times people are on their phone or watching TV, very disconnected. It's no longer like this, like, oh my gosh, this tastes amazing. You know, this feels so good, you know, nourishing my body, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? That's like when your senses are very open. You're very in tune with the smell of the meal or the food, the experience of it all, you know, and it's not like every time you sit down to eat, you're just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It's incredible. You know, it's not like that, but you guys know what I mean. Okay. It's a present experience that you're present for versus, and you're taking it all in, connected with the senses, versus being a robot stuck in a program loop of, oh, it's dinner time, so it's time to eat, okay? And we just gotta rush through this and distract ourselves and, you know, all the things, okay? So the sacral chakra is basically like think of like a flower. It is the flowering plant that we become. And what are the fruits of love but feelings and creativity, right? So, you know, right now, there is a call to action for many, many, many souls to reconnect with these chakras, to reconnect in these ways, to reconnect with your sensuality, your creativity. The sacral chakra is also very connected to the mother wound and to the mother energy, okay? So let's go further because I only have 20 minutes. So because of the sacral chakra, we can sense our feelings and acknowledge the feelings of others by using the element of water to flow relationally and nurture our creativity, okay? So when, you know, the sacral chakra is in balance, you know, you flow, there's a lot of flow, emotional flow with your relationships, with, you know, friends, just people around you, partners. When the sacral energy is blocked, there's a lot of resistance of emotional flow and suppressing and holding back. And again, disconnecting from the body, like completely going into like freeze state and things of that nature, okay? Where you're no longer even enjoying life. Like you're literally just going through the motions. You are alive, but you're not living. You're not in tune with the enjoyment of life, the beauty of life, the senses of life, the magic of life, the flow of life, and the emotions connected to that. The sacral chakra also helps us enjoy and connect with our sensuality. And yes, it is a very sexual center too, for sure. For sure, for sure. Our sensuality fills our world with meaning and experience. Like, again, it gives it becomes an experience. And when you're in tune and you're more present, then your memory is better. These things stick with you. It's like, do you know what I mean? Okay. The glands, so the sacral chakra connects with certain glands in the body. For the men, it's the testes, producing testosterone and sperm. For the women, it's ovaries, where your eggs are stored, making estrogen and progesterone. I can never say that word. Body parts, it governs sexual organs, including the uterus, the vajayjay, the cervix, the testes, the pelvic and lower vertebrae, the appendix and upper intestines, and parts of the prostate, kidneys, and digestive organs. Related physical diseases, so like when your sacral chakra is blocked and you're just like continuously living in blocked sacral energy and things aren't flowing in that regard, these are some things that can physically manifest and happen in the body because of it. So it will challenge reproductive and urinary systems. Like also it messes with menstruation and the lower back, sexual dysfunction, and all intestinal and like diseases like diverticulitis, like low bladder function or weak bladder function, certain infections in the kidney, low back pain, irregular menstruations, things of that nature, okay? And I'm just, sorry, I'm like kind of skipping ahead because I want to talk about more. Psychological dysfunctions. So this is like how it affects you mentally, emotionally, right? Like depression, anxiety, greed, envy, blaming and shame, self-hatred, okay? Again, also like low libido, not being very sexually like, you know, like motivated or being connected with your sexual power or energy. All of that is very connected with the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is, I mean, everything is important, but the sacral is so, so important, especially when like it comes to manifestation, romantic partnerships, things of that nature. You know, if you have a blocked sacral, and you know, usually too, like a lot of times when your like if your root chakra is blocked, your sacral is probably blocked too. Not always. Same thing with like solar plexus too. You know what I mean? They all kind of, everything is very connected and intertwined. When the sacral chakra is balanced, it enables bonding. So again, there's not like a resistance in your connections or where you want to like just hermit and like self-isolate. Like you feel like you're very like, like I'm so into life. Like I am so into the love of life. I am in love with life. Like I'm here for it. I'm wanting to experience and feel and taste and see all the things that life has to offer. You know, I'm inspired to visit beautiful places. I'm inspired to develop beautiful partnerships and connections. You know, I'm inspired to create beautiful work. I'm very connected to my body and loving on my body. I'm very committed to that. You know, there's all that kind of like very, you guys know what I mean, energy. And probably most people watching this right now, you're not quite there because of sacral blockages or blocks, right? And that's okay. That's why I'm doing these videos. So a balanced sacral it helps to enable bonding. It supports our ability to maintain our relationships in life. We can fulfill our sensual nature, reveling in moods, flavors, aromas, and sensations that make you feel alive and that bring you joy and fulfillment and peace and nourishment and all of that kind of stuff, okay? So a positive archetypal energy of the sacral is the Empress, which again is the mother archetype, divine feminine archetype, also the Emperor. But mostly that Empress energy, that Venus, divine feminine, like very sensual, very open and flowy and emotional and magnetic and in balance, and like all of that is very connected with the sacral energies. A negative archetype is like a martyr, you know, someone or some, like it's like ruling over emotions for self-gain or manipulative emotional manipulation. Oftentimes people with extreme trauma and wounds connected with all of this and very blocked sacrals, they're very they're emotional manipulators and gaslighters, for sure. They will emotionally manipulate to their gain, but that gain is always a false victory and a sense of false victory. So it's always very temporary, which causes the person, the individual, to keep doing those kinds of things over and over and over again. I'm going to continuously manipulate other people around me, my children, you know, my friends, you know, lovers or romantic partners or whoever, my family. Like I'm going to emotionally manipulate them to continue to feel fulfilled and connected and in my power and right, whatever it is. Okay. It's definitely like victimhood, clinging to romantic partners, especially, or toxic like romantic partnerships or toxic relationships, but definitely romantic partnerships. Like with the blocked sacral energy, you are very disconnected. You're self-abandoning, and you're very much self-abandoning your true senses and your true emotions on very high levels. So so you will definitely like self-sacrifice just to be with someone and to have that warm body next to you in your life, etc. So some of the spiritual abilities that connect very strongly with the sacral chakra is clear empathy, basically sensing other people's feelings, just being highly empathic, feeling their feelings. Again, it's an emotional, watery center, the sacral. very feminine energy. So you're very in tune with what everyone else is feeling. But when your sacral is in balance and very open and happy and you know, circling energetically the way that it should, etc., you are not absorbing everyone's emotional energy. You're observant of it, but you're not absorbing it. Whereas when the sacral is blocked and you're not in your sacral power in that way, you will be like a sponge, absorbing all the toxic crap around you emotionally from others. Okay. Claircognizance, which is a clear knowing, clear gustance, clear smell, clear sentience, clear sensing, clear tangency, just knowing, a knowing of what isn't present, okay? Like basically like you just know, right? Related auric fields, which it's like, so the root chakra is like the first kind of auric field. So like they kind of go out like this per se, like circle meets circle over circle over circle. So it's like the second auric field basically. Sacral chakra statements like connected with the mother wounding. Again, you hold mother wounds there. It is right below the belly button, so it's very close in proximity to the umbilical cord, etc. Okay, catch my drift. More mother wounding and mother cords, mother attachments. Grief, you know, it basically like the mother wound, when it's wounded still, it has, it holds on, it stays in grief. It has a difficulty setting healthy boundaries, not ego toxic, like asshole boundaries, where you're like, I'm in my power, I'm setting back. That's toxic too. It's literally just doing it without saying a word, okay? You will often feel like you have the inability to meet your needs. Like, again, it's like self-sabotage. You're not meeting your needs. You're constantly trying to meet everyone else's needs and expectations of you. It's very people-pleasing. It's like all that kind of stuff. You're unable to meet what the inner child needs. The inner child is feeling abandoned, etc., and so forth, okay? And bypassing the sacral chakra energy and healing, etc., can lead to addiction, root chakra energy too. Fertility challenges, that's a huge one, being infertile or fertility challenges, getting pregnant, etc. Prolonged grief, PCOS, postpartum, anxiety, empathetic exhaustion, which is what I spoke of a moment ago, where you're literally absorbing. It's like being an empath shouldn't be crippling. Okay, it shouldn't be crippling to be empathic and to feel so much. But when we're out of balance and when we're not grounded and when we are emotionally out of balance and disconnected from our body and our emotions and etc. Okay, these are things that happen. People pleasing and constant disappointment in love. Okay, that's a huge one. A big one. People are like, when am I going to meet my soulmate? When am I going to meet? I'm like, these are the things that need attention and healing. And no one is going to do it for you. No one can do it for you. You know, trying to manifest some boyfriend or girlfriend into your life to fix you, it's not going to do it. You have to do it. Okay? All right. And it also results, a very blocked, wounded sacral energy is people who are overly sexual and very promiscuous and lustful in these ways. Or I see it all the time, especially with women, men too, but it's a little different. Women will constantly be seeking out a man, a partner to come and, you know, fix them. And they will often, you know, they will give up the goods very quickly to a man. Because they are very blocked, they're very disconnected, they're not in their power, right? So it's another form of people pleasing, but it's people pleasing with your, okay? All right, but men do it too. So anyways, you guys, we're basically done here. This is the sacral chakra energy. The chakra sound also for this, the affirmation chant for this chakra is VAM, V-A-M. So chanting VAM, 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 VAM. There's videos on YouTube, okay? Tune in with your sacral center. Really be intentional with healing it, especially at this time, and watch magic unfold.